Hello, welcome back to another update of AI Assist. This week I've continued work on the Dockerfile parser and analyzer. Last week we had the offsite, which took quite a few days. And this week we have PTO and Friends Family Day, so it's a combined update of the last 2 weeks, which in reality is like 5 days of work. So last week I started by gathering Docker files from public images and start analyzing them so I can verify if the parser is correct. So I wrote a bunch more tests and that works. There were a few interesting things that I didn't include at first, like the maintainer, which is deprecated, but of course it's still being used. And the other thing that I did is I've extended the rule set for the analyzer, including verifying name convention. I see this happening often where people will name a Docker file like dockerfile dot something or dockerfile dash something, which is in theory fine, but IDEs and even GitLab don't recognize it as a Docker file anymore. And I think the correct naming convention is subname.dockerfile, which preserves the file type and is just neater in general. Other than that, I've added quite an interesting feature, the dynamic parsing of files. So as I said before, if you were to do a copy dot, it wouldn't work, right? Because it would be unable to know which files are being parsed, and it will check those files against the sensitive files type. So now I've added it that it will actually look for the files. However, I'm just going to show an example with src because it is the same for dot as src in this case. Src is my folder here with a few files. And if we now run it against the Dockerfile parser and we get the parsed source files, which is a new node, we will see that actually all of these files will be copied into the Docker image instead of saying just src. And probably if I change it now to dot, it will be a bunch more files, but it will be a similar result. Yeah, you can see it right here. And this is what is also included here is the Docker ignore. The Docker ignore is a file which is similar to git ignore. It will just make sure that these files don't get copied over to your Docker image, which again is to prevent sensitive information from leaking. And that also works, as you can see, because PyTest cache and the venv and PyCache are not included in these types of files. That was quite a bit of work. And next up is I'm going to test it against way more files. I'm planning to gather 10,000 Docker files and start running it against this, seeing how we can analyze the data and what kind of insights we get from it. I'm also going to add 2 or 3 more rules, and I've also thought about what is it exactly doing, this analyzer, because I'm going to release it so people can already start using it. It is to ensure that the image is smaller, it's faster to build, and is in general safe by having safe users, safe base images, not leaking any credentials, that kind of stuff. And we'll have to see where it goes from there. I'm thinking about optimizing Docker files, but also automatically generating Docker files. So that's one thing that I want to experiment with. See if I can create an entire Docker file based on just the files that are present in the repository. That's it for now. If you have any questions or remarks, please leave a comment or contact me on Slack. And one last question that I have is I planned on releasing the Docker Assistant just from my subgroup. So Incubation Engineering /AI Assist /Docker Assistant. Do you think this is fine, or should it be a different repo or a different Docker image? Let me know if you have any hints. Thank you. Bye-bye.